Hi guys, this is Caroline Swick from carolineswick.com, and this is the second video of my interview series called Find Your Voice, which is basically meant to give you a private insight into how different people have found their own voice and have used it to create lives and careers for themselves that they truly love. Today I have the pleasure to be with my good friend Natalie Berthold. Hi Natalie.
Hi, Carolyn.
Natalie is a health and lifestyle coach with a specialization in family constellation and really working with women to get to the root of their disordered eating. Natalie absolutely rocks, and I'm so happy to have her here with us today.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So, Natalie, why don't you give us a little intro to what you do today?
Okay. All right. Well, that's a bit hard because the family constellation therapy that I do is very phenomenological and experiential. But basically, the man who made it a therapy, Berthold, was doing missionary work in South Africa, and he started to observe the Zulu tribes, and he noticed they were very happy. And we Americans and European, he's German, they're not happy. And so he started to observe these certain orders of love that families and family systems follow. And these orders of love basically have the capacity to, I don't want to say destroy us, but cause negative patterns or help us to flourish. And we do these things and follow these negative patterns out of love and loyalty. And so what I do when I work with clients one-on-one or in groups is I'm looking for gaps in their family system where things are incomplete, or there is separation, and we reorder them so that love can flow again, which means your health can flow again, money can flow again, relationships can flow again. And I know that's kind of a weird concept to try to explain, but that's basically what I do. And then with women with disordered eating, I help them really to find the root of the cause. And I use a lot of family constellation therapy with that. So I'm not, going over diet plans or anything like that. It's very emotional and what's in your family system that might be causing you to behave in this way.
Yeah, and I absolutely love what you do, and I actually had the luxury to go to one of your workshops a while back, and I absolutely, was just fascinated by what kind of things came out and emerged that people, in a way, like it had nothing to do with their immediate lives, and their,
Right.
it seemed like a lot of women, or men probably too, are working really hard to figure out something that doesn't really have to do with their immediate lives. So it sounds like family constellation allows you to dive a little bit deeper into people's past and people's bigger families to pinpoint where the energy stopped flowing.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is. It's hidden loyalties. Many people don't know about it. And like you said, they're trying to solve problems within the context of their own life, of things that happen in their own life. And oftentimes it's stuff that doesn't even have to do with you. It's something that grandma went through, or, an aunt or uncle, and it's the energy is still cycling because it hasn't been resolved yet, and it's affecting you. So it's very powerful work. Yeah.
So I know, like, in context of, this specific interview, and we're talking about finding your voice, I know that family constellation was probably also really meaningful and instrumental in your own life in terms of really emerging as the Natalie that is here today, right?
Absolutely. I mean, before family constellation therapy, which now has been, I don't know, maybe 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I was myself suffering from a really debilitating eating disorder, which, prevents you from being seen, prevents you from living. Basically, I had one foot in the death door. I wasn't living my life. I wasn't dating. I wasn't wearing cute, bright clothes like I can today. And so definitely this work changed my life professionally, but more importantly, personally, and my family's lives. It affects everybody in your family and future generations and prior generations. So it's definitely had a huge impact on me.
So how did you stumble upon family constellation therapy back then?
I was teaching in Argentina, and the therapy is big in other countries besides the US, and so I tried it there, and it was amazing. And of course, I knew right away that this is something that I needed to study and gift to others,
Yeah.
bring to the United States.
Yeah. So your first session was really like the one that changed everything for you.
Everything. So there are no coincidences, I don't think. Yeah, absolutely.
And so how was it integrating family constellation therapy into your life in the US? Like how, like again, when we're talking about finding your voice, like what has that added to your life? And like how has your life changed afterwards? Like before you had like your kind of like stronger voice and after?
Yeah, I think, in terms of finding your voice, I think a lot of people know what their voice is. It's just a matter of listening to it. And I think if you go through your old journals, I actually had a storage unit in Indiana where I'm from forever. And I went to go clean it out a few years ago. And I was reading a journal from like first grade. And it was like, when I grow up, I want to, help women and help them with their families and have animal therapy and art therapy and this and that. So there's something inside of you that always knows what you want to do. And then, in my young adult life, that had manifested into I was a teacher, and I was definitely working with kids and their families and things of that nature. And I think that I continued to sort of pray and negotiate with God, which is really your own creator, or you're co-creating with him. And, then I kind of got led to Reiki, which was awesome, but it was healing work, but I would kind of negotiate and be like, listen, I want to combine healing with education and intelligence, and I really value, that part of myself, and the Reiki felt too passive for me. And, it just continued to evolve. I continued to pray about that. I would express what I knew was in my voice, which was to help people. And I would just tell God, or ask God, keep directing my sail. This is kind of somewhere in the healing education. Family Constellation is very pattern oriented. I always taught math. I'm really into patterns. And it's not so woo-woo. It's pretty, it appears woo-woo, but it's pretty scientific. And also, I just recommend not reinventing the wheel. I knew family systems and family patterns well. Our family we had our own share of trauma in the family. And then with disordered eating, I had an eating disorder for 15 years. I knew it like the back of my hand. And so, I wasn't reinventing the wheel. I wasn't trying to, teach people how to be an astronaut or underwater basket weaving. I was taking all these things that I knew and trying to integrate it. And so when I stumbled upon, by no coincidence, Family Constellation Therapy, it just clicked with me, and I just knew. And so now, I'm not a teacher anymore. I still teach this work, but I'm not a traditional school teacher. It has helped me to let go of the disordered eating patterns. It's helped me to let go of some of my crazy money stories. It's helped me to, be in a very healthy relationship now. It's helped me to sort of reprioritize my life. It's helped me to really understand we're not supposed to be our mothers. I can't even, honestly, I could be a commercial for it, because it's helped me in so many ways. But most importantly, I guess, to be seen, like I said, to be seen. And that's in all areas, physically and with business, and just using my voice, even though it's scary.
Like to be seen by others and by yourself, probably. Like just to be visible in the world.
Yeah, it's scary to find your voice and to utilize it, right? This work is very tribal, and all of us have a tribe. And the work I do, my mom and dad and brother don't even really understand the work I do. And when I left teaching, I lost a lot of teacher friends because they were my tribe. And so to stick your neck out and speak your voice is scary as hell. But what's harder and scarier is ignoring that voice. And so, it's not easy, but it's something you got to do. And what's helped me through that is knowing that it's not just about you, right? You're co-creating this plan with God, and it's not just about you. And to find a tribe in your community that supports what you do and does similar things, so you're not tempted to jump ship or to leave, not do it because you don't want to be the black sheep.
Yeah. Like the one thing that stands out to me most, I think, when I hear your story is how, like, it sounds like you never gave up digging. Like you never, like you kind of like knew, like when you were talking about the journal that you had in the very beginning, Like when you were 11, you said?
First grade,
Oh,
I wrote
first grade.
like
Yeah.
what I want to be when I grow up. Yeah.
Yeah. So you knew that back then, and you like, like you kept like rediscovering your voice over and over, and then used, like, for example, like your like for patterns at first found expression by becoming a math teacher, to then like switch it into family constellation therapy, which also has patterns. And I really like the concept of like figuring out basic things that speak to you, that you really like, that you're passionate about, and that they can be applicable to 1,000 different ways in which you can find your own voice and develop that voice.
Yeah, I'm really a big fan of bridging and taking baby steps. Actually, in family constellation therapy, a big concept is action creates clarity. You take a little baby step, that creates more clarity. You feel into it. Am I feeling contracted or expansive as I take this step? And I get a lot of clients and people who just want to know immediately what it is they're supposed to do, and they want to go from A to Z. And I really don't think it's safe. I think it's good to take those baby steps and keep seeing your world expand in front of you. As yes, I always knew I wanted to help people, and I liked math. I mean, I taught all subjects, but I really liked math and patterns, and that expanded into this, and that expanded into that. And I actually have no illusions or attachments to this being the last thing that I do. I think a luxury of growing up in this generation is that you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
My grandpa worked in the same factory for 30, 40 years. We don't have to do that. And yeah, it's like every step you take, a new, portrait shows itself to you.
Yeah.
You just have to keep moving.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
slowly.
I think that that's interesting too, that I think some people get stuck in the non-action, and they, like make realizations and then think that it ends there. Like, oh, now I know this about myself. Now I can just go on with my life as usual. But that a realization that you're making about yourself has to be rooted in some sort of small action in order to like actually move into a different area of your life and expand. Like I really like that concept of like expansion and like, like walking through life with open eyes.
Yeah, eyes wide open.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a tough concept for clients, and I'm sure you can relate. I get clients and they're like, okay, fix me. And I go, okay, we can do the energy work and we can rearrange some systemic things, but I'm going to give you action steps that you also have to take.
Yeah.
You have to have both. You
Yeah.
really do.
I really, really believe that too. And I see that in my clients as well,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And sometimes you also, like what you just said, like they want to rush too fast and like run into the future too fast. And sometimes there has to be a little bit of pacing and like checking in with yourself. And like, I like also what you said with, like, how did this baby step feel to me? And is this the right direction? Because it's easier to course correct when you take little steps at a time and allow them to integrate into your life naturally.
Yeah, I mean, my joke analogy, but there's so much truth to it, to my clients is, listen, do you want to be the Lindsay Lohan or Olsen twins of your practice, of your work? No, like you don't want to burn out. You don't want to do too much too fast and then tweak, basically.
Yeah.
You really want to gain a foundation. So it is finding that balance between taking no action and just taking a ton of action way too quickly. And that's a tough thing, but I think that's, a key to success.
Yeah. So my last question for you would have been, what's the piece of advice that you would give to our listeners today? And we might have already answered that question, but what's the one piece of advice that you would give that you think made a really big difference in your life when you were just on that verge of like finding out who you really are?
I think it's so hard for me to be succinct and give one piece, but I'll say that, again, knowing how much tribes influence you and how scary it is for the soul to feel like the black sheep. When I left teaching, it was really scary. I don't have insurance. I didn't have the security of the paycheck every other week. But more importantly, it was a lot of my teacher friends who couldn't identify with me anymore. And I felt like the outcast, but I immediately, went on meetup.com, sought out a group of women like you and the friends that we hang out with now that got me and understood me and were like, hey, I'm doing unconventional things as well, and I'm following my voice as well, and everyone might not understand it or get it, but we're in the same boat. And so finding that tribe to be in the same boat with helped me to stay this course instead of, like, screw this. It's easier to explain to people I'm a teacher. It's easier to say, Mom and Dad, I'm teaching, but, like I said, it's harder to ignore that voice. So I would say to find a tribe that supports you and gets you and is on a similar trajectory so that you can stay your course.
Yeah, and I love that, like, really just knowing that you don't have to do it on your own, that whatever you decide to do,
on your own.
Yeah, like whatever you decide to do, you can find a group of people who will get you and who will support you, even though that might be scary at first.
Yeah, and the other side of that, you can't expect everyone to do things for you either. It's that balance. You asking for help with, like, again, taking your own actions and doing your own work. Yeah, so it's all about balance, like everything. But it's been a journey, and just to enjoy the ride. I mean, I think with traveling, with work, with relationships, people want to get straight to the marriage, and you just got engaged, but it was a journey, right? Congratulations. You guys were together for a while, and with work, I've been at this business, now for 4 years, and of course I'm not, to the end point of where I want to be, but I'm enjoying the journey and enjoy that in between, learn from it, grow from it, evolve from it. Don't be in such a rush to get to the end.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So finally, Natalie, you have something amazing coming up. You have an October retreat planned in Cape Cod called Healing the Root of It. I love that phrase, and I wish I could go. But can you tell us a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I would love to. So basically with Family Constellation, there's a lot of power in doing the group work. And so this retreat really is, we're going to do a lot of family constellation therapy, which means looking at your particular family system and finding those gaps and creating reconciliation with that. And it's not going to be all a painful healing. We're going to have some fun too. We're going to do massage and yoga, and we have these 3 cottages on the shore with a private pond and beach. So we're going to go boating and bonfires and fireplaces and all that jazz too. So it's going to be a nice combo of, a little butt whooping in terms of the healing, but also some fun and relaxation as well. So that is coming up October 16th through the 20th, and I'm so excited about it.
Oh, I think it sounds magical, and especially, talking about, like, having a tribe that supports you, I feel like that would be the perfect opportunity to bond with people who are also on that, journey of, like, seeking something deeper.
I'm so glad you said that, because it's extremely bonding, and the girls that were on my retreat last year still keep in touch. When you spend, almost a week with someone playing their grandfathers and their aunts and their dogs and this, that, and the other, you're really bonded and you're really in touch with them on such a deep level. And it is a very safe and sacred and bonding sisterhood that happens. So.
Yeah. Sounds amazing. Well, all the information is going to be posted under this video, so if anyone is interested in checking it out, you definitely should.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thank you so much, Natalie. I really, really enjoyed this.
It was my pleasure. I enjoyed it too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.